Okay, let's dive in. We're talking about something pretty universal today, based on the notes you shared. Stress. I mean, we all feel it, don't we? But have you ever noticed, maybe, it starts to chip away at your focus? Makes you a bit forgetful, or just that feeling like your brain's wading through mud sometimes. If you're nodding along right now, yeah, you are definitely not alone. And while sure, a little pressure can sometimes be good, help us focus even. That chronic kind of stress, the relentless stuff, that might be, well, silently messing with your most valuable asset, your brain.
That's exactly right. And for this deep dive, our mission really is to peel back the layers on those hidden dangers. We're looking at chronic stress, and specifically its hormonal partner in crime, cortisol, and what it does to your brain health. So we'll unpack the science from the material you sent over, clarify what's actually happening inside your head, and then, this is key, give you some practical science-backed ways to protect your mental sharpness.
Right. So this isn't about adding more stress, worrying about stress, not at all. It's about getting some knowledge, quickly understanding the why behind maybe what you're feeling,
Hmm.
and finding things you can actually do, taking back some control. So, to start us off, let's hit the core question. What exactly is cortisol, and why should you really care about it?
It's funny how quickly we link cortisol and stress, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
basically the stress hormone. Your adrenal glands release it when you perceive danger. It's a core part of that fight or flight system.
Mhm.
You can think of cortisol as your body's like emergency dispatcher. If there's a real sudden threat, car swerving at you, boom.
Mhm.
Cortisol mobilizes resources. It floods your system with glucose for quick energy, sharpens your senses, even gets your muscles ready.
Yeah.
For that short burst, that crisis, it's brilliant,
Okay.
absolutely vital.
Okay, so it's designed to be a lifesaver, literally, short term. But, and this is where it gets tricky, right? If it's so helpful in those moments, why does it get such a bad rap now? Why is it seen as this big problem for our brains in, modern life? Is it just that it hangs around too long? Or is there more going on?
That's a great question. And it really hits the nail on the head about the modern issue. See, your body's emergency system, it wasn't built for constant activation, not 24/7. But when stress becomes chronic, and that could be from, well, anything, relentless work, relationship issues, money worries, even just the constant barrage of digital noise we're all swimming in, what happens is cortisol levels stay high for way too long. It's like keeping that emergency dispatcher on high alert all day, every day. And that's when this helpful hormone starts causing, well, significant damage, especially to the brain.
Okay, let's really dig into that damage. What does that high chronic cortisol actually do? Because the research you shared, it outlines some pretty serious effects.
It's actually quite profound and maybe a little startling when you first hear it. First off, long-term exposure to high cortisol can literally change the physical structure of your brain. It's not just a feeling of brain fog. Chronic stress can actually prune away some of the delicate connections, the synapses in your prefrontal cortex.
Wow, the prefrontal cortex, that's the thinking part, right? Planning, decisions.
Exactly. It's your brain's executive control center.
Mm.
Handles planning, decision-making, problem-solving.
Hmm.
It even helps keep your impulses in check. So when those connections get pruned, it's like your brain's most sophisticated functions are constantly being put into like a low-power mode.
A physical change, that's powerful. Does that mean it's permanent? Or can the brain bounce back if we manage the stress better?
That's a really critical point. And the good news is, while stress does cause these structural changes, the brain has amazing resilience, neuroplasticity. Lots of studies show that if you effectively manage the stress, your brain can reorganize itself, form new connections. So yes, recovery is definitely possible. But another fascinating thing high cortisol does is disrupt the hippocampus.
Ah, the memory center?
Precisely.
Yeah.
Think of it as your brain's library for new information. When cortisol messes with it constantly, that's when you start having trouble with short-term memory. You find it harder to learn new things, maybe struggle to focus. It's like your internal search engine just isn't working properly anymore. Can't find the files.
And mood too, right? Because I know when I'm stressed, I feel irritable, a shorter fuse, maybe more anxious. Is that linked to these brain changes as well?
Absolutely. Cortisol can basically put your amygdala, your brain's fear center, into overdrive, which makes you more prone to anxiety. Yeah, those mood swings you mentioned, irritability. It can even contribute to feeling depressed. So connecting the dots, it's not just feeling bad. It's a measurable physiological shift in how your brain processes emotions, making you more reactive, less resilient.
And then there's something else the material mentioned, maybe more subtle, but potentially worse long-term, neuroinflammation. What exactly is that? Sounds not good.
Yeah, it's definitely something to be concerned about. Long-term stress basically ramps up inflammatory signals in the brain. You can sort of picture it like tiny simmering fires inside your brain. Neuroinflammation. And while it might just feel like constant mental drain day to day, these low-grade, prolonged fires are increasingly linked to laying the groundwork for serious long-term conditions, things like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease. So it really shifts the concern from just daily cognitive hiccups to potential major long-term health risks, a kind of slow physical erosion.
Okay, so if someone's listening now and thinking, wow, yeah, some of this sounds familiar, what are the specific signals, the kind of red flags your brain might be sending out that it's under this sort of attack from stress?
Or you might find yourself maybe forgetting where you put your keys more often than usual, or experiencing that persistent brain fog, just feeling mentally tired all day, noticing you're more irritable, maybe more anxious than normal, having trouble focusing on tasks that, used to feel pretty easy, or finding it really hard to take in new information, learn new things.
Right, that really puts everyday brain fog in a different light, doesn't it? It's not just a vague feeling.
Exactly. It could be your physical brain literally adapting or struggling under the load of stress. If those things resonate, it's a pretty clear sign your brain might be sending out some distress signals.
Okay, this all sounds quite serious, but I remember seeing in the notes you send over, there's also a lot of hope. There's a lot we can actually do. So what are some of the really effective science-backed ways to maybe reverse some of this, to protect our mental sharpness?
Precisely. That's the crucial part. The good news is you absolutely have powerful tools. First, and this is quite profound, is practicing daily mindfulness. And this isn't just about, feeling calm for 10 minutes. Practices like mindfulness meditation, deep breathing exercises, even progressive muscle relaxation, they can actively lower cortisol levels. And studies even show they can improve brain structure, particularly in the hippocampus.
The memory bit again.
The memory bit, exactly. It's about giving your brain a consistent off switch from that constant stress treadmill.
So literally, a calmer mind leads to a healthier, more robust brain structure. Okay. What about moving? Exercise always comes up with stress. How does that fit in here, specifically for the brain?
Moving your body regularly is another fantastic tool. Huge impact. Regular physical activity doesn't just burn off stress hormones like cortisol. It also increases something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor.
BDNF.
Think of it like high-quality fertilizer for your brain cells. It helps repair existing cells and actually encourages the growth of new ones. Plus, it improves blood flow to the brain, getting more oxygen and nutrients up there. Even short bursts of activity can make a real difference.
Right. And this next one, I know it's often the first thing to go when life gets busy, but the material really stressed its importance for brain repair.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Quality sleep. You cannot overstate this. Poor sleep is a direct and significant trigger for higher cortisol. It's a vicious cycle. But when you are sleeping, especially during those deep sleep cycles, your brain is doing critical maintenance. It's literally cleaning out metabolic waste, consolidating memories, repairing neural pathways.
Housekeeping time.
Total housekeeping time.
Yeah.
So aiming for, 7 to 9 hours of good restorative sleep each night. It's just non-negotiable if you want a resilient brain.
Okay. And food. What we put in our bodies must play a role too. What kind of brain-friendly foods should we be reaching for to help calm things down and support thinking?
Yeah, nourishing your brain from the inside is foundational. Absolutely. You want to look at incorporating foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids. Things like wild salmon, chia seeds, walnuts. They're like essential building blocks for brain cells. Antioxidants are also key. You find those in brightly colored berries, dark chocolate. They help fight that oxidative stress from chronic inflammation. And magnesium, found in leafy greens, pumpkin seeds. Magnesium is great for helping calm the nervous system and supporting overall brain function. It's about consciously fueling your brain.
Makes sense. Now, beyond those lifestyle pillars, I saw a really interesting category in the research, natural adaptogens. They were described as like nature's stress shield. How do those work exactly? What are some key ones?
Adaptogens are fascinating. Think of them less like a blunt instrument and more like a sophisticated thermostat for your body's stress response. They don't just block stress hormones. They help your system adapt more effectively. They can kind of nudge cortisol levels back towards balance, whether they're too high or sometimes even if they're depleted, making your body more resilient to daily pressures.
Oh, okay, like a modulator.
Exactly, a modulator. And some of the most well-studied ones. Ashwagandha is a big one, known for its ability to lower cortisol and reduce feelings of anxiety. Then there's rhodiola rosea. That one's often linked to enhancing mental performance and reducing fatigue, especially when you're under stress. Bacopa monnieri is another, specifically noted for boosting memory and cognitive function. and lion's mane mushroom. That one's really interesting because it seems to support neurogenesis, the actual growth of new brain cells, and improve mental clarity.
Wow, that is quite a lineup of natural allies. And speaking of combining them, the material you provided also mentioned how some neuroscientists formulated supplements aim to bring these kinds of ingredients together. Can you maybe elaborate a bit? What makes a comprehensive supplement effective for this kind of brain stress support? Maybe using one of the examples mentioned, like CogniCare Pro.
Absolutely. When you're looking at comprehensive support, the key really is synergy. How do different compounds work together to potentially amplify the benefits? So a formulation like CogniCare Pro, which was highlighted in the notes, yeah, it's typically designed by neuroscientists to combine a precise blend of these adaptogens we just talked about, often alongside antioxidants and other neuroprotective compounds. The goal is a multi-pronged attack, really, to help naturally lower cortisol, protect those brain cells from oxidative stress. Those simmering fires improve memory, focus, clarity, and generally enhance your overall mood and mental resilience against daily stress. It's about providing targeted daily support with these natural compounds, offering comprehensive backup for your brain.
Right. So, bringing this all together as we wrap up this deep dive based on the research you shared, what's the main takeaway for you, the listener?
I think the core message is this. Yes, stress might feel unavoidable in modern life, but chronic stress and the damage it can do to your brain, that is not an unchangeable fate. Just understanding the mechanisms like how cortisol impacts your prefrontal cortex, your hippocampus, and learning to recognize the signs, the brain fog, the irritability, that knowledge itself empowers you. It allows you to take proactive steps. This isn't just about coping anymore. It's truly about building resilience.
Exactly. You've got a powerful toolkit now. We've talked about the simplicity but profound impact of daily mindfulness, consistent physical activity, the absolute foundation of quality sleep, eating a brain-friendly diet. And we've seen how natural adaptogens, ashwagandha, rhodiola, bacopa, lion's mane, can offer really significant natural support. Plus how some carefully formulated options, like the one mentioned, can combine these for that holistic brain stress support.
Your brain really is your most valuable asset. It deserves protection. So maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. If your brain is that important, what's one small, consistent action you can take starting today? Something to protect it, nourish it, give it the calm it needs to really thrive, ensuring your mental sharpness, not just now, but for years to come.